and welcome to my YouTube channel. Please click the subscribe button. If you're new here, welcome. Can you please like, share with your friends and subscribe? I'm from Nigeria, but I'm filming from United Kingdom where I live, Leeds to be precise. Based on topic today, I'm going to speak about how I met my husband. I paid £25 to meet my husband. Is he is he a celebrity? I think he is in my eyes. He is indeed. So basically, how did it start? I've got my notes here, so I'm just going to go through it. How did we all meet? How did we meet? Put a comment in the comment section below before I actually say how we met. If you can actually guess how we met, it's a non-conventional way. It's not your typical boy meets girl, walking along the streets. Let's get right in. Right, so I met my husband a couple of years ago when I was actually in my final year of university. So I studied 2 degrees and I was in my final year of my second degree. I studied in the United Kingdom and I was actually going back to Nigeria. I had made that very, very clear and I said, you know what, I'm going back to Nigeria. I'm not staying here, let's just see how it goes. So initially it wasn't really let's see how it goes. Let's rewind back to the genesis. If you've commented below on how you think we met, I'm just going to reveal it now. We met on a Christian website. Yay! Online dating. I mean, this has spanned back so many years to even actually when my aunt actually met her husband. I think they've been married for probably almost 14 years or maybe almost, yeah. And she met him while being at the cyber cafe and met him online. So I felt like I found that very fascinating when I actually found out that I now started getting interested in this online dating world, because best believe, left to me, I was not interested in any online anything. I don't know who I'm going to meet online. So I went onto this website. Disclaimer, I'm not selling, I'm not sponsored by the website or anything. Please move on to it at your own risk. Read all your terms and conditions if this is what you're interested in. But if you do want the name of the website, actually I can comment that in the comment section below. It was on a Christian website. I remember that evening I was just sat in my room and my mom had explored the option of me joining a dating site a few times and I never listened to her. I said, please, I'm not interested in this. We've had this conversation before. No. We then, and this particular day, it just sounded very novel to me, very exciting. I was like, okay, let me join, but don't push it though. I'm just going to join one website. She said, join many. I said, no. So I joined this website and it was just filled all my details and I was so excited, but I didn't join my actual name. Osase, I joined with my alter ego name or my birthstone name, like I would call it, Almanda Garnet. So I joined with that and, put my age, I put what I like to do. I liked food. And I was poking a lot of people, but nobody actually, either some of them didn't answer or some of them actually responded and said they were not really interested. So I just thought, okay. And bear in mind, I was just looking for a boyfriend for fun, just, to just, go on trips with. I had been in several situationships, relationships in the past, but they were nothing, serious. And I just thought, oh, let's just see how this one goes. After a few tries that night, I was already tired and I just refreshed the screen and I thought, these people, they are not even forthcoming. Let me go and sleep. As I refreshed the homepage, I saw this face. It was a black guy. And bear in mind, I did my university in Leeds. So I thought, oh, I knew many of the African students. I knew a lot of black people. If I saw your face, at least you would look familiar. But this one did not look familiar. So I think that added to the, suspense. And I clicked on him. His age, his face actually looked quite young, but his age was like way older. And I was thinking, are you sure this person is not putting up a weird weird age and everything. So I then, poked the person, and then the person responds immediately. I was like, oh, this is amazing. I don't need to wait or somebody not come and tell me they are not interested. So he said, hi, first question this guy asked me, what church do you go to? I was like, who asked this kind of question? So I answered him. I told him the name of the church I went to. He also told me the name of the church he went to. I was like, oh my God, I know that church. Bear in mind that the pastor of the church that he went to had been trying to get me to come and visit. But I'm in the choir at my church. So I cannot leave church on a weekend to, except maybe on a one-off. But she wanted me to come there, and I was like, I can't really come. So she was trying to get me to come. So when he told me about her, it was easy for him to then say, oh, okay, let me go and ask this woman about you. But part of me was thinking, I hope this woman doesn't think because this girl has not come, she'll come and leave bad reference about me. But obviously, clearly not. At that stage, I did ask, oh, okay, are you based in Leeds? I was like, yeah. And then he was like, oh, he teaches at the university. I was like, oh, you do? Sorry, not teaching. He works at the university, sorry. I was like, oh, I've not come across you. What campus? Blah, blah, blah. That's my uni. Before I knew it, like, it was already getting very interesting. Like, this person is actually closer than I think. And guess what happens? The website just blocks. It just shuts. And I'm like, no way. It says you have to pay to subscribe. I was like, nobody warned me about paying to subscribe initially. I joined the website thinking it was free. Oh my God, what is the meaning of this? I felt stuck, and this was the end of the month. Best believe your girl's account was just low. My last 25 quid, let's just say I had 30 pounds left in my account. That was what I used. That was what I used to join website at my own risk. And here we are today. Anyway, so and then I'm sat there just thinking. I look at the person's page is saying, I cook. I'm like, this one will be cooking for me. I bake. I'm like, So that was that. Moving forward, I paid, and then he told me, we spoke, for about an hour. I don't know if I told him I paid, but apparently he had been on the website coming off and on, like, over the years while in uni, and he didn't really find anybody that he wanted to be with. So he then says, oh, before he says, can I get your WhatsApp number? Next day is church. So, we're like, oh, good night. I go to church, I come back, and I'm looking, I didn't even close the page of my laptop so that just in case this person disappears. I refreshed it and it was still there. I was looking forward to coming back, to meeting him, to chatting with him on this website. I was like, who is this person that I don't know you from anywhere. So he's like, okay, do you want my number? I was like, oh yeah, let's move this over to WhatsApp. So he then gets my number. Next question he asked me, obviously, after all the series of conversations and questions he's already asked online, is, what is your real name? This Amanda and Garnet. Amanda and Garnet is a birthstone, precious stone actually. Gosh, and I was like, my real name is Osase. And he was like, okay, and everything. And that was how it all started. I know that we then, obviously there's catfish, and catfish is real in this life. So he wanted to make sure that this girl did not have K leg, bull leg, R leg, all the letters of the alphabet leg. Or maybe did not even have hand. And he was obviously maybe had put a weird DP or picture. So I was like, okay, let's meet up. He said, let's meet up. So I went to university. Thank God it was a central place. We met up at the cafeteria. He said he was coming down. So best believe I'm not that good with faces. He had his real name, he had his picture on the website. Bear in mind, best believe I've already seen about 4 or 5 pictures of him. He only saw one picture of me and I still could not recognize him. One black boy walked in front of me like this. And I was like, oh, hi. I'm here. The guy just looked at me so weird, like, who are you? So I called and I said, oh, I think I just saw you walk past. He said, that's not me. Obviously, if it was me, you would have known. So he said, I'm still coming. I was like, okay. I got down, we had a chat, we had coffee. He asked me if I wanted anything to drink, obviously, for me now. I said, no, I don't want anything, I'm okay. We chatted, and then this is the next thing that we found out. Another key to unlock this interesting relationship. His work colleague in university, actually, the year before, I had gone on a volunteering trip to Thailand to teach English. his work colleague in the same department as him was our group leader. She had taken a group picture of us and put it on her desk. So he had gone into the office one day, her desk, and just say, "Oh, hi, this is your trip to Thailand. This is so nice." And I was the only black person in that on that trip. He literally points me out, and he doesn't know me. Basically, this is like 1 or 2 years before that. And he says, "Oh, who's that black girl? She looks so good. This. And the lady was like, "Oh yeah, she started, she sings, it's this," and she was proper blowing my trumpet. I was like, okay. 2 years, and she said, "I will introduce you to her." That never happened. But guess what happens when we were talking about all the places we've been to in life, where we traveled to, and I said, "Oh, Thailand, I went with uni." "Oh, when?" And he finds out that I was the person in that picture. He was like, "It's you." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "You know that the lady said she was going to introduce you, she never did. See how fate and destiny has brought us together, blah, blah, 3 bags full." By the way, let me just make this clear. This is going to be a series. It's going to come in different parts, because best believe if I was going to write a book on this, it's not just going to be a quick. We can discuss, we can draw lessons from, from all the sections and all the parts. Any questions that you have, please don't hesitate to ask me in the comment section below. So moving on, after our first meetup, we then say we're going to meet up again. And I think this time he then stood me up. He said he was going to come to like this mall that was here. And I was like, okay, yeah. Before I set off to the mall, he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I can't make it. Something in an emergency just happened." And then later find out that their emergency had to do with something at church. And I was just like, "Oh gosh, this guy." And I think I was like, "I'm never speaking to you again. I was so excited to see you." So and then he was like, "He's sorry." So after that, we then say, "Okay, we're going to meet again." When we then meet again, we went on several dates. We met again. I was like, who's this guy? We went for, I think he took me to eat, something along those lines. And he was like, "Oh, let's go to that same place again." So we went to the mall again. And then there are different, like, eating spots and stations in that mall. So we then go to this place. This part is too funny. Typical Nigeria girl now. The person that takes you on dates is going to pay for your dates. And here he was willing to pay. Got there, and it was a Vietnamese place. He was like, "Oh, do you want what do you want to eat?" And I was like, "Oh no, don't worry, nothing. Maybe I just have a drink." He's trying to put his pin in it, like, to pay. He's had his own meal. So, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Just get me a drink, like apple and mint or something like that." He then puts his card. As he wants to type his pin, he starts he looks at me and he's like, "What are you looking at? Why are you looking at my pin?" I'm like, Jesus. At that point, somebody can just be like, "What did they do this one?" Like, so today we actually laugh about it and everything. He was like, And I was like, "I'm not looking at your pin now. Like, I'm not looking at your card." And he was like, And he puts it in. And then we sit down, we chat, we eat. After that, we're like, let's go and get, churros. So we have that. That's all amazing, blah, blah, blah. Moving on, we've after this, we've had like meetups after that, And I'm talking to him on the phone. And I'm asking him, "What do you really want to get out of this?" And he's like, "Oh, he wants marriage." But he was hesitant because I think his parents were walking around. So he had to go upstairs to his room to go and talk that, "Oh, this is actually something serious that he wants." I was like, "Oh, okay. I just want to know because I don't want to be wasting my time here. This is me that went on website to go and chill, go and find the..." And then he was like, yeah, he actually wants something serious. So I was like, okay, at least I know what I'm dealing with. Okay. That was straight to the point. That's fine. And I think he then invites me. Bear in mind, all this while I'm still getting to know him. I'm still trying to see. He doesn't know where I live as of yet. And obviously me, security conscious, I was living on my own at the time. I would say I was living with my brother, but my brother was almost not really staying in the house. He would come maybe in the weekend or something. So let's just say I was living on my own. He then said, "Oh, there's this Bethel concert or something that he's inviting me to come." I was like, okay, how much is the concert? He told me, "Again, your girl was broke. This is the end of the month. Gets to the end of the month." She already told you, I already paid for website. I cannot afford a concert too. And then again, the concert is finishing at X amount of time, which means the buses are going to have stopped running, or I'm going to have to take a taxi, which I cannot afford, or you are going to drop me because he was driving at the time. So he's going to drop me. I don't want you to know my house. Only me in the night. You're not come and drop me. I don't know you from anywhere like that. So I was like, I can't come. I'm sorry. So he went with some of his friends, maybe from work or whatever. I was like, okay. But bear in mind that whatever amount I had left, another of my friends had invited me to Newcastle to come and watch Mario essay. And I was like, let me go. So I used that money to actually buy a coach ticket to go to Newcastle instead of. Got there, I told her, she's a pastor now. I told her, she knows herself if she's watching this video. she was a pastor then as well, I think, yeah. And I was like, I met this person, blah blah blah. She was like, okay. She was like, how do you is it looking okay? I was like, yeah, we're actually chatting a lot, This is what happened. I actually picked Newcastle over, going to the concert that he invited me to. She was like, she laughed and everything. I was like, okay. So we just saw how everything went until I came back. Now, this is a bit of a plot twist because I was on the way back to Nigeria. I was going to graduate in about 2 months, or let's just say 3 months. I was going to graduate in about 3 months, let's just 3 to 4 months. I had just met this person. I wasn't sure what was going on. I'll tell you about my move to Nigeria when I'm talking about my career and everything, but let's just focus on this. So I was going to go back to Nigeria, and I had told him that I wasn't coming back. So he was of the opinion that, okay, let's just, I really like you. Let's see how this goes and everything. By the way, that's my baby in the background. If you're here still. So he then comes to pick me up for a date. He actually comes to my house. He says, okay, let's see where this is going. After I already said, we're going to Nigeria. He comes to my place. My mom is there. And bear in mind, I'm just like, and then I introduce him to my mom. It was just quite interesting. My mom was excited. Oh my God, you have a boyfriend. Oh. Obviously, personally, I told me to go and join website. So he then, what then happens? He then says, okay, let's see where this is going. And I was going back to Nigeria, and I had a lot of thoughts in my head. I was thinking, what if I go back to Nigeria and find somebody there? I'm sure people will like me in Nigeria that I'm already talking to, blah blah blah. There were just a lot of things coupled up in my mind. I was like, yeah. My auntie and my cousin then say, give this guy a try. So I said, why are you, is he not nice? Is he not, all of these things not happening? I was like, okay. What did I now do? I heard the Holy Spirit actually tell me to focus on my now. He says, as I focus on your now, what is your now? It's this guy. I was like, okay. So we then message each other and say, okay, we're going to meet up. Bear in mind, he's not asked me out yet or anything. We've just been going out to get to know each other. He then tells me, okay, it was I think a bank holiday. So he says, let's come to uni again. Let's meet in a meeting room in the library, and then let's have a chat. So I was like, okay, today we're going to chat about like literally everything. We're going to lay all cards on the table. We're going to say whether we actually want this or not, whether I want to move forward with it, what's actually going on. And I was like, okay. So that I did not forget anything that night, I had prepped. I wrote everything about my past relationships, everything I thought I wanted him to know, because I just felt like this sort of peace that, okay, if I'm actually going forward with this person, let me just be so honest that I don't want to trap them in anything, so that anything that they hear now today when we have laid all cards on the table, if they don't like it, they can go their own way. There's no commitment. Nothing has happened, If me, I don't like what I hear as well, God will help us. Maybe I will be my confirmation, whatever. I was like, boom, let's do that. So I made sure I wrote everything in detail, and I was like, God, so you are coming to my spirit. Now there were a few things, or maybe 1 or 2 particular things that, we all have like skeletons in our closet, and there was this thing I vowed, I said I've never told anybody, that the person I actually want to tell has to be my husband. So I wrote it down. I didn't really think I was going to, I don't even think I wrote it down. Can't remember anyway. I got there and we, had this meeting. We all spoke. He said, oh yeah, you can, how is everything? You want to tell me anything? So I then told him different things. Bear in mind, we were chatting already. When I told him mine, I don't know if who went first. Maybe he went first, and then I listened, and then I then went next. Do you know what he did? He literally, when I was done talking, he literally sat there listening. I was talking about the thing that I felt like was my deepest, darkest secret, and I was there laughing and telling him about it, and he was just like, staring at me. Please don't. This has to be led by the Holy Spirit. You cannot just divulge and say, because you have heard it now, you will now go and do the same thing. Please, God works in mysterious ways. Just have the peace of God and guidance as to what to say and how to say things, so that you don't go and make mistakes that are costly to your life, and then you don't start divulging as in strong things about you to like every single person, because not everybody is going to be your spouse. He takes this paper from me and literally crosses it out and says, every single one of these things have been in your past. It doesn't define you. It is not you. And I love you despite the same. I don't think he said love. He just said, I accept you however you are. I sat there. I don't even know whether I was crying. You know when you're just so overwhelmed, like, who is this God in flesh? So anyway, that aside, we then walked downstairs after having a very long conversation. Maybe we were kicked out of the room, and then he then asked me to be his girlfriend. I was so, oh my God, I was elated. Is to as in, is an understatement. I was like, oh my God, I'm somebody's girlfriend. So he now, obviously, bear in mind that he works at the university. So when he had gone and seen his colleagues, he was like, oh, he now introduces me as, this is my girlfriend. I was like, oh my God, that sounds so good. And then from there, we then start going on dates. We start going out. I tell my parents about him. He's very keen to let me meet all his parents, friends, spiritual parents, everybody, and everything. Moving back to the lady pastor that was at the church that he attended, he had gone to ask her that, please, do you know this baby? Before he asked me out, let me know about her. And obviously, she gave a wonderful word about me. She's such a good person, good heart. And I was like, oh, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So that was all done and dusted. I met his parents, his dad. I remember him asking, are you sure this is what you want? And don't come back to my house to tell me that you don't want this person again. No. And everything. And he was like, yeah, he's sure. I took him to my pastor. I told my dad about him. And we started our lifelong journey. I remember going to the church with him. He had invited me to come to the church, and I was trying to pay him back for standing me up, and I was like, I'm not coming. But I then go there, and then I see this lady pastor, and she's like, I've been inviting you to this church since you have not come. Because of boy, now you've come. I was like, okay, no, not really, but okay, I'm here now. Anyway, so I remember standing there, and I told him, and I felt the Holy Spirit actually stand in between us. Imagine you're in a church service and he was sat beside me, and I felt like a breeze, like a wind come in between us. I was like, whoa. And whereas when we're praying, and I remember looking at him and telling him that this is me shouting that I'm not coming back, I'm not coming back. I looked at him in that moment and I said, I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back to see how much you have grown, is what I said. And the rest is history. I'd gone off to Nigerian law school, and my child is calling me. I'll be back. To end this part of the video here, and I'm going to do a part 2. Part 2 is going to speak about me preparing to go to Nigeria with my newly found relationship and my life in Nigeria. I was in Nigeria doing a long distance relationship for almost 2 whole years. I'm going to tell you everything that went down. If, there were any suitors down there, what happened, if everything was, the pressure was getting worse. I will lay everything down in my next video. I hope you really enjoyed watching this one on how the genesis of how I met my husband and how I paid 24 quid for this website to meet this wonderful angel man that God sent to me. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll be back again. And don't forget to share with your friends. Take care. Bye.